we have an Aspen camper trailer. It's a pop-up. You can put it behind your motorcycle and you can go camping with it. Pull up to the campground and it pops up. It's got a bed. She's got an air conditioner down in there that she bought to go with it. So what we're going to do today, I've already wired the trailer to hook up to her bike. I wish I got that on video, but I didn't, guys. Hopefully I'll get the next one. But right now we're putting LED lights under the trailer to go all the way around so it gives it more visibility. But also we're going to get, I actually have a car battery to run these LED lights and put one of those trickle chargers so that she can run these LED lights when she's camping to give a glow underneath. So stick around and find out how to do that on this episode of Cars and Guitars DIY. Kit that we got, it's an NEO, yeah, like I said, RGB LED kit. Alright, so we got this off of Amazon because Amazon is next day and free shipping when you have Prime, right? And so the whole idea is to light up that trailer so it can be seen, and when she's sitting in the camping spot she can put a glow out that won't stop or run down her motorcycle battery. So we bought a Value Never Start, well, it's an Ever Start, from Walmart. Why? Because it's got the to-go handle, right? And it was only 57 bucks. And it's 600 CCA. This thing will run these lights probably 4 or 5 days non-stop without even charging it. But the kicker is, we're going to put one of those trickle chargers where she can just plug this in and charge it back up. And in the future we're going to use this with a converter so she can run some 110 lights. So we'll see how that goes, but this is our project now. I'm going to lay out the lights underneath the trailer so you can see how we're going to do this, and then we're going to get under there and then we're going to wire it to a switch. Here's our lights. This is what they look like. Then we're going to have a switch, just one of those toggle switches, and it's around here somewhere. Here it is. And we're going to put that up in the front, drill a hole, and floop, floop, she can turn them on from outside the trailer, and they're running the power from this, and it's not running her motorcycle battery down. So that's our project for today. It came with 7 lights like this that have a connector on each end. Then the 8th light was terminated, so it doesn't have a connector on either end. Then it has 7 extensions that go in between the lights, so you can position where you want. So we got 7 of those. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to put anything on the front of the trailer, okay? We're going to put 2 on this side, 1, 2, I'm sorry, 3 on this side, 1 here, 1 under the wheel well, and 1 under the back there. And then 2 in the back, and then 3 on the other side. Okay? So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to take, the battery is going to be inside. There's a storage inside here. You lift this up and you get into it. And I've lifted up, but it's kind of heavy. Right there. The battery's going down there. And the switch we're going to put on the outside right here. So we're going to drill a hole in there and wire it up to the battery, which is going to sit right down there. And so then she can come up here and just flip it on. Boo. And she can have her lights on. So I'm going to lay that out and then show you what I laid out. Then we'll get under there and clean it with the Windex or whatever she's got to clean it up, wipe it, and then stick those lights on, wire them up, and then take the wire ties and wire tie them up so they don't fall off. And then we can drill a hole and put the switch in. Alright, so here we are back the next day. I did have the battery just sitting right here for the trailer lights. And this is the power pack. It's going to mount up and under there with 2-sided tape. Then we're going to run the power wires, the black and the red, are going to go up inside of there, and we're going to mount the battery down in here. So then it's going to be out of the way, and then later on we can hook up a power inverter so she can plug in 110 volt and she can charge her tablet and her phone, USB and stuff like that. So, but right now we're just going to put this here. We may or may not put a battery box, probably not, because this is sealed, it's not going to go anywhere. And she's going to put something behind it so it can't flip over. So anyway, we'll drill holes down in there for the wires to come out, to come up to hook to this. And then I got all the lights mounted. See if we can see them here. Let me get down here. I don't know what it is, but as you get older, the floor is further down. Have you noticed? Anyway, so yeah, so these are stuck on. I cleaned that with window cleaner since we didn't have any isopropyl alcohol. Same thing. And got them stuck. Now I gotta basically tidy all this up, these wires, and then use the tabs. What do you call those little clippy thingies? You know, wire ties. Yeah. So we got to tidy it all up and then wire tie it all up out of the way so it's not dragging the ground, and hide it behind there. So that's what we're working on now. We're going to hide all the wires. It's a wire hiding ordeal. Okay, so I got all the wires tucked all the way around, up really nice, with wire ties and all the way around. And now that I'm up here where the battery, where I have to go drill a hole through, and then I'm going to mount a switch right here for her to be able to turn it on and off without too much trouble. Probably somewhere right here. just drill a hole, and then we're going to put this switch right here. And the way we're going to hook this switch up, and this is the idea I got from Derek from Vice Grip Garage. Yep. You know, where a fellow watches him bring cars back to life. I always thought you should hook this to the power, to the positive side, right? Well, if you do that, then if this shorts out, bzz, 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 you don't want that, right? So you hook it to the negative side, and all it does is break the ground. As you can see, I don't know if you can see the light, but see how it went off right there? It does the same thing, except there's no power coming back out at your switch that can short out and cause a fire. Of course, I'm still going to be running a fuse on it. But the whole plan now is to take this, we're going to use two-sided tape and tuck it up under there. Drill holes. I'm going to cut these right here. I'm going to put the fuse on the inside so she don't have to get under here if the fuse blows. You can get it where the battery's at. And I'm going to run speaker wire because it's low voltage, and it was a lot cheaper than buying a roll. It was half as cheap actually. So I'm going to run speaker wire to this, to the battery inside there. So I'm going to get the drill, and that's what we're going to do. And the good thing about the lights is once you turn them on with that remote right there, and you get them set the color you want, which is that color right there, if you turn them off, when you flip them back on, they initially go to the green because that's what color comes on immediately, and then it goes back to the color that you left them on, which is nice. So you don't have to have the remote every time you go and flip this. You can just flip the switch and boom, she's got the same color that she wanted. So that's nice. So that's what we're doing right now. Alright, so we're going to put this battery back in here. Yep, she's heavy. Alright, so we're going to put the battery right there. And then we're going to drill a hole to mount our switch. Probably about right here.
You gonna mark it?
No.
No.
Doesn't matter.
You're gonna eyeball it?
Yep. So we got our drill right here. I don't recommend this, but that's what she has. So we're going to mount our switch. We're going to put it right. We're going to measure it out exactly. Yep, right there seems good. Oh, this is for our switch. We need a bigger bit. We need a bit that matches the size of our switch. This isn't for the wires. So let's get the correct bit. There it is. Alright. We got our precision measurement there. Right there. Clean it off real good. Now we're going to see if that'll go through. Nope. Gotta ream it. Pretty close. Let me go from the inside. Maybe. Nope. That will probably work. looks right. Yeah. Alright. So now we got to figure out where we want the wires to come out, which will probably be down below. So we want to put our fuse inside the cabin here. We don't want it hanging out, because this won't go through the hole that we're going to drill for the wires. So we're going to cut this, leave enough that we can splice the fuse in, and we might as well cut this one the same length so that the wires come out the same amount. And so on this style of lights, this white wire right here, that's the hook to your brake lights to make them all flash. We're not going to use this wire, so we're just going to tuck it out of the way and say, get out of here, we don't need you. So I got speaker wire because this is low voltage, not much amp draw at all. And the speaker wire was much cheaper than getting the regular red and black wires. They were $9 a roll for each. And I got the speaker wire $9 for 2 together. And you can tell which one's negative and which is positive by the silver and the gold. So you can tell one's gold and one's silver. And I always use the silver for the negative and the gold for the positive. We'll do the same thing with this. We'll put the gold on there and the silver here. Then when we take it in there to hook it to the battery, we know what's going on. We know which is which. So all we got to do is figure out how to get this out of here. Ow! Oh, I'm not bleeding. I'm okay. What do they make this child-proof? What child is going to steal that? Oh, and then they put plastic all over. What is going on here? Oh, it's just tape. Okay. Time for the strippers. Oh, I might have stripped some of the wire off with that. That ain't gonna work. Let's try this again. Might have to use the old teeth, because this is pulling wire with it, and you need all the strands you got. Yeah, perfect. Not good for the teeth, but whatever. So we got our solder, rosin core, made in Mexico. Ha ha ha. And our shrink wrap. You want to grab the smallest one you can that'll work around the wire. And then you got to be careful when you solder it, because if you put too much you can't slide the shrink wrap over. So then the shrink wrap is basically useless. Another thing I've noticed, if you put this too close to where you're soldering, it'll shrink before you're ready for it to. Then it still won't slide over. And that sucks. So we got her on there. We'll go ahead and strip it a little more. Put them all the way down there where they won't get hot while we're soldering. Gold to red, and if you twist your wires, it'll keep from excess strands getting in your way and making your soldering joint thicker than it needs to be. So then you take them and twist them together. And I always take the little pliers and scrunch them up tight, because I want the smallest footprint I got, so I can slide that over once I solder it. So that one's ready. The only problem is our soldering gun is not hot yet, so when we get her hot, we'll be back. So what I like to do is heat up the wire. I've already got a little solder on the tip, but then you just dab the solder on the tip and you roll it across, and it soaks all the way through. Then go under, do the same thing, and then make sure it's spread out good down here. If not, add a little more. But you only want to add as much as you need, not too much. And that's a pretty good joint. That's going to hold it together. It's not going to pull apart. So you want to let that cool before you slide this shrink wrap over it. Because if it's still hot while you're trying to slide it, it'll shrink before you get it slid. And that's not a good situation. It's cool to the touch now, so we should be good. So we just slide it over there, and we need our lighter, which I don't have. So it's probably better to use a heat gun on this, but I like just bringing the fire. It works. Just don't melt it. Heat it up, shrink it, you're done. That's a good joint. It ain't going nowhere. So now let's do the same thing over here with our silver one, which is negative. Just going to twist it together just like we did the other one. That looks pretty good. Same thing, heat up our wires. I'm going to put a little on the tip. Once the wires are heated up, add some solder. And if you do that right, it gets the joint solid the first time, which I actually did that one right. So we're done with the soldering for now. I'll turn her off because she's little. I don't want her burning herself up. Make sure it's cool, which it's not. I don't recommend using your finger to find out if it's not, but yeah, getting there. They cool off pretty quick. Slide your shrink wrap over quickly and shrink it. Ta-da! Now we got to make this go through down there. I don't want to feed two strands, so I'll cut it off so I got one. I can feed that through easier. Perfect. Now we just got to feed those up. You can stay right here. Got to strip it. Yep. That's why I got a gap in my teeth. I've been doing that all my life. Now we gotta get some shrink wrap and put on there. So again, we're switching the negative side. So the positive side is not going to be switched. So we're going to solder the positive side first. And the positive is the gold one. Yep, she's hot enough. Got a little on the tip. Run it along the wire. I don't have any way to brace this. It's not good. Put some more on the tip. I think we got her. Yep, perfect. The negative side's going to the switch. That's going to, oh, I should have used that side. What was you thinking? Dang it. We're supposed to use the short side. Alright, no biggie. I like practicing. Perfect solder joint too. Now I gotta strip it again. Yeah. Short side, here we go. That looks pretty good. A little on the tip. Heat it up. Add solder. No more. Hang on. Yep, she's good. Perfect. Let me get my shrink wrapper shrinker. A little warm. Got a little tip sticking off too of the solder, so I'm gonna use the pliers to push it down. That should be good. Shrink it. Shrunk. Oh, still hot, still hot. All right. So that one is going to the battery. This one goes to the switch. We might not have enough. Might have to put a longer one on. We need a wire from here to there that's continuous. I'll probably solder it though because it's gonna be too hard to get this back on there. So we'll go from there. Yep. Perfect. That's good. Ta-da! Alright, so we got some connectors that we can hook up to the power. So I didn't want to wrap these around because that's just not the right way to do it. So we're going to hook these up and then we can just screw them straight on the battery terminals, and we're not going to have to worry about them not touching like they should. So that's pretty thick. See how much we got to squeeze that? So I probably want to double this over. See how big that is?
Okay.
Versus the wire. So we're probably going to double this up. So I'll strip it enough and then fold it back on itself so it'll go in there. Because when you get this size of terminal, it gives you a bigger wire, and we're not using a bigger wire. So we'll just strip more out, double it over. Looks like it's working. Yellow is the charging light, green is fully charged, red is it's hooked up backwards. So it's not hooked up backwards and it's charging. So we'll just let that charge, it'll be good to go. And we got our switch, it's off right now. Flip the switch, they come on. I don't know if you can see that glow. Yeah, you can. Watch when I turn it off. See? So they're all working. So now all she has to do is, when she wants to go down the road or whatever, just flip the switch. Or if she's parked, she can flip the switch. And this is not running down the battery in her motorcycle. It's got the battery in there, and it's got its own battery tender. So we're going to go ahead and let that charge up all the way. And if she charges it up before she goes, it should last the whole trip, because that's all she's running off of it now. Later on though, we're going to put on some USB things and probably an inverter where she can run some 110 stuff. And that being the case, then she'll have to see what her battery usage is and decide when she needs to plug it up at the campground or whatever to keep it going. But while she's at the campground, she can just plug into their power and use a power strip. So this is basically for when you don't have power, and to run these lights only. So that's pretty much it.